Hello, and we have a treat for you. Peter Edwards is in the house, and he's a brother from another mother. We both grew up in California, Los Angeles area. He was from LA. I was just outskirts of LA, Baldwin Park, Covina, not far from him at all, and about 3 years difference. I know it doesn't look it, but I am older than he is, so we got those things going for us. But we were really introduced in gangs with different paths. I had an older brother, Steve. When I was 5 years old, he was 19. We believe we lost him to gang violence. It was too many years ago. I'm 61 now, so I really didn't ever get a chance to get all the details of those things that happened. I knew there's connection to Hells Angels was a big deal back there. There's a lot of different gangs. For me, growing up on a street in Baldwin Park, it was between two gangs. We were right at a dividing line, and my dad moved us out when I was 10. It was a huge, there wasn't ever a black-white thing that I can remember or my family remember. It was more the Chicanos were moving in. It was a movement. Low-income housing brought a whole bunch of people in from another country, and I can't even tell you which one it is, to be honest with you. And it got bad. I mean, it got worse, I guess. So a lot of gang violence. My parents packed up and moved me back to the farm with my granddad, and that was in Pennsylvania. So I went from running from the gangs to milking goats and cows, so baling hay every day. So grew up on a farm as a farm boy. So city life to a farm boy, pretty much a lot of culture shock for me. But Peter's story is a little bit different. We're going to talk about colors, and we're going to start with three parts. Part one, we're going to talk about the beginning, his life, what he's gone through. Part two, we're going to talk about consequences, your choices. Peter's always been a big advocate. I've heard him talk many times, and he talks about our choices have consequences. And he's really reached out to try to make a change in life and help the young people and help anybody that needs help, actually. He's really turned his life around, and we'll get that in part three. We'll talk about Peter's real success story. But first, I want to welcome Peter. Welcome. We thank you for being here. And
thank you for having me.
Before we start into part one, going deep and dive into the beginning, tell the audience who you are. Who is Peter Edwards today?
Peter Edwards is an individual, come from the game lifestyle. I'm more streetwise than book smart. Hard worker, dedicated friend. But Peter is somebody that beat the odds. And the reason why I said beat the odds is because we come from the same background, kind of, sort of, but mine's, like you say, go a little bit deeper, which I can get into that later on. But Peter Edwards had to make a drastic 90-degree change in his life due to the way that I was going. And so I'm very thankful to be sitting here today with you, giving this interview, because I feel that, I have something to say. And I think that, in order to have something to say, you need to have somebody listen. And that's where you come in at, and that your audience come in at as well. And so I look forward to just, being an open book to you and trying to get the message out that even though we start life out on a bad path, don't necessarily mean we got to end up like that. And so Peter Edwards is one of them guys. Okay, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I know.
Mm. And you have a beautiful wife and a young son. You want to share about that a little bit?
Yes. My wife's name is Patricia Edwards. We're going on 11 years with each other. We don't have no kids together. We wanted some, but, due to the age difference, we didn't go there, but the Lord bless us to be able to adopt a baby boy. Mm. His name is Latari. We got him when he was 2.5 months old. He's 17 months now. And a bundle of joy. Handful, but a bundle of joy. A lot of people would ask, why so late in life would you want to do it all over again? Because, of course, my kids are grown. Mm-hmm. My wife's kids are grown. So everybody's out the house, it's just me and her. And so we're taking the time out to give back by raising Tari. Somebody, she had him, she didn't want him, due to whatever was going on in her life. Maybe if it was she can take care of him or whatever. So me and my wife made a decision together to adopt him.
What an awesome story. I just love it. I got to meet him. He's a spitball fire. He is going 100 miles an hour, which is just so fun to see. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk to me about the family structure. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters. What was it in L.A.?
Back in 1970, I lived in Watts, California. At that time, during the Watts riot, I had my mother, 2 brothers and a sister.
No father, right?
No father.
Mom never got married.
Mom never got married. My father was in and out of my life growing up. He was a pimp. So he was out in San Francisco, Oakland, doing what he do, you know. Me, I was a mama's baby. So she raised me the best that she could. It worked to a certain extent till I got to the point where not having a father figure really took a toll on my life. Because my mother did the best she could, but the streets raised me because I didn't have a father in the home. And so I kind of took a turn for the worse, okay, which I'm not ashamed about, but I ain't proud of it either. It gave me a chance to sit up and realize how important it is to have that father figure in your life. You know, somebody. If it's an uncle, a brother, stepdad, you know, it makes a difference.
Now you had 2 older brothers.
Yes, I had 2 older brothers. They both was gang members as well as myself. One of my brothers was a Blood from the Nickerson Gardens. And then my other brother was an East Side Crip.
That's where the colors come in, right? Red and blue, right?
Yes, that's how I got introduced to it. And I was 13.
13.
Yeah.
Now, how did you choose the blue side? How did you choose to go to blue? I mean, was you closer to that brother, or how did that work? But it wasn't another gang. It didn't be the same gang, right?
What kind of did it for me was the blue team was always winning.
Oh, really?
And so that kind of like, I was like, okay, I could, you know, I don't know. I can't say red don't look good on me anyway. It just never do, you know. So seeing my brothers, I had a choice to make. And one of my brothers would say, come on this side. The other brother was saying, you know, come to the red side. And so to try to protect me, what they did was said, okay, he's off limits, because I was little. And once I got old enough, I decided to join the Crips.
Got it. So, yeah, they gave you that time to give the choice.
Yeah.
And that was 13?
Yep, I was 13.
Wow.
Yes.
And where were you at school? What was school like at that time?
Off and on, I really wasn't going to school.
Okay.
I used to ditch all the time. In terms of high school diploma, GED, you know, I kind of came up the hard way. I came up through the back doors, you know. Like I said earlier, I'm street smart, but I'm not book smart.
Okay.
And so that got me.
You're a smart person. You just haven't spent a lot of time on the books and the education side of it. Got it.
Yes. Then nobody really sit down with me and work with me on that, you know.
But eventually you got in and out of foster care too, right?
Yes.
So even that home structure with your mom changed, right?
Yes. I guess that's the reason why I'm not family orientated right to this day. And what I mean by family orientated, I have noticed over the years that everybody say family is everything. And I get family is everything. But when you grew up the way that I grew up, not really being part of a family, you got to tend to know how to fend for yourself. And that's what I did.
And even that person, as a young person, your one brother for sure, if not both, end up in jail, right?
Yes.
So that you end up in and out. So you started seeing that pattern right off the bat, right?
Yeah, and I thought it was cool.
Okay.
You know, and I took that path. I went down the same road they went down. And they didn't try to stop me because they was caught up.
They're caught up in it too, right?
Yeah, and like I say, without a father figure, with nobody, no structure, I was lost. So I had to pay the consequences, and I did.
But you didn't even think about choices back then. You didn't think about where I could be a doctor, a lawyer, or even a policeman, right? That's the furthest from your mind, right? A policeman.
Yes, I mean, I don't got, back then, the police were the enemy, okay? Because we always thought that they would become, if they come in the neighborhood, they come to arrest somebody. Or they go manhandle you to take you to jail. It was never a friendly relationship.
They're not playing basketball in the street
None of
with
that.
you or whatever.
None of
Got
that.
it.
You see them coming, you break and run. You know, and even though you didn't do nothing, as little kids, we see a police coming down the street, we all just take off and running, and we ain't did nothing. But that's what it was
Run
like.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was like back then, you know. And right to this day, now that I have got older, I realize that the police is not the enemy, not like I thought, you know. But back then, that was what I seen. Okay.
So I'll throw this at you. So the course that we're doing is, this whole series is listen to learn, right? I'm listening to learn more and understand more, because sometimes we go through life, we're just naive, we're blind, we have blinders on because we're trying to do our own thing and try to survive, right?
Yes.
But what would your definition be of the hood? In your area that you grew up with, that you come through, would you define that as the term hood? Is that a fair word?
Yeah. I mean, it's the hood. And what I mean by the hood, if you ain't from over there, you can't come over here. The only people that can come over here and hang out is those of us that live in the hood, because that's home for us, you know. You see a little bit of everything. Don't nothing surprise you. I had homies get killed in front of me, you know. I done got jumped in the hood, you know.
A lot of single moms in the hood. Did you see that?
Everybody.
Really?
You know, yeah. I've seen a lot of young youth growing up without father figures, because everybody was either in jail or dead. So just grew up like the way that I did, it was no big thing to me, because I thought that's what's life. You know, that's all I knew, you know, was the hanging out, the banging, you know, the drinking, the drugs, and just, you know, just looking to get into trouble. And I never thought about becoming a policeman. Nah. Fire department, fireman, nah. You know, because it was military. That'd be the closest thing that I'd say.
To go into the Army or something,
Yeah.
or Marines?
And
Yeah.
that was to run away
Okay.
from the parliament, knowing that, you know what, I might have a chance if I go to the military.
Okay. And so if I was being a white guy coming over there wearing blue, could I have walked around your area, or
No.
no? How about if I a white guy wearing red? That'd be bad, right?
Well, they both could be bad for you.
Okay.
Because for one thing, we don't got white neighborhood. We don't got white people that live in our hoods.
Okay. That's
Every-
interesting. I never would have realized
Everybody
that.
black. The only people that come through there is either you a policeman or you better be the insurance man. The mailmen, the white mailmen quit mailing mail in the neighborhood because we used to rob them, take the mails, you know, the first checks and stuff like that.
Got it.
You
Okay.
know? So it was kind of, you know, touchy, but that's just the way it was.
Oh, that's so tough. That is. So we're going to take a break. That's part one. We are with Peter Edwards, and I hope you come back.